Hello everyone and welcome to KYE Talks. I'm Sonal Ambekar, your host for this interview. Know Your Entrepreneur is a digital platform where we talk to several entrepreneurs who tell us why they chose not to be stuck to the regular 9 to 5, but they went ahead and did something different. They went ahead and chased their passion. Today, my guest is Ms. Tarini Gupta. She's the co-founder and CMO of Dalalstreet.ai, which is India's first trading platform with an AI-powered algorithm using sentimental analysis, helping one make the best buy or sell calls for their equities. Tarini is a dedicated advocate for encouraging and enabling the financial independence of women. A budding and a motivational speaker, Tarini aims to shed light on the importance of incorporating human psychology and connect at the workplace as well as professional spheres. Let's get to know more from Tarini. Hi Tarini, welcome to KYE Talks.
Hi Sonal, nice to be with you today and thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, so Tarini, getting on with the interview, please tell me what was your motivation behind starting Dalal Street, or how did it start? How did you decide that you wanted to do something on your own, or you wanted to get into this thing, this buy and sell of equities? How did it all go?
Well, essentially, if I keep the answer kind of short, my co-founder and I faced a similar issue. So we are from totally different backgrounds, totally different educational, spheres. Everything is different, but there was one thing that was similar that we both faced, that once we created our demat accounts, we were almost clueless as to what we should do with it next. So we went on to doing a lot of research, and we came to the conclusion that only 1.8% of people in India actually trade in the markets. And out of all the demat accounts that are present, 70% of them are actually inactive, which just tells you that people are interested or motivated enough to create a demat account, but post that they have no idea what to do, because these professional services and fund managers are actually very expensive. So we are trying to actually bridge this gap for people within the age group of 18 to 30, because we are also in that age group. So we feel that we can understand these people the best and create the best product for them. So that's kind of how we started this and the reason behind Dalalstreet.ai.
Okay, and like you said that you and your partner is from completely different fields of education. So
yes.
What have you studied, and like how was that flip to have studied that and then to have started a career into this? How was that entire journey?
So my entire background, especially my educational background, has been business management, finance, marketing, these kind of fields. My co-founder is more to do with data, more to do with the technology aspect. So that's how we kind of bring both our skill sets, because without the technology bit, there's nothing we can do, as our entire product is artificial intelligence driven. There's a lot of machine learning that goes into it. So we do need someone who is extremely hands-on with that. And of course, without the finance side, without the marketing side, how do you actually build a product, or how do you actually build a company? So both put together, I think we make a good team. Before Dalalstreet.ai, we actually did not know each other. So we met on an online platform where we came together. We both had totally different skills. So everything, our entire company started virtually even before COVID hit us. So we were kind of secure from that sense, because I was in the UK at that time. My co-founders from Bangalore. Even when I'm in India, I'm based out of Delhi. So at one point, there is never a time when we are at the same place or the same city. So we started virtually, and with COVID, I think for us, it's made it a lot easier, because a lot more people are receptive to the concept of online virtual working.
Right.
Absolutely. And this has actually been a blessing in disguise, because in the last 6 months we've had over 60 people who have worked with us or who have interned with us, and they're from all over the globe. So we've had people from the US, from China, from Korea. We have people from the UK, Saudi Arabia. So it's everyone from totally different background, different cultures, interest fields, has brought in such nice fresh perspective that we keep molding what we are doing, so that this model that we are creating is not only focused for India, but it can also work in an international sphere, in the future. So it's brought in a lot of great perspective.
Yeah, so you and your partner like bring best of both worlds to Dalal Street, and that's how you guys are going ahead. The team, stronger the team, better the outcome, right? And like you said, because of COVID, people realize that like having just one source of income is not safe. It's not secure for you all. And And instead of saving, it's better to, invest in something where you can also get returns out of it. And it's
Yes,
amazing
exactly.
that you started this, you've taken this initiative to also, educate and make our generation, the younger generation, aware of, how they can trade into securities and how they can get returns. Amazing. So I would like to know, Tarini, what is it that gives you a sense of accomplishment in doing what you do?
So essentially, because our product is so heavily driven by AI and data, the more and more our accuracy increases. So when I say accuracy, it means that every recommendation we give, for the stock or what people should do and the advice we give, the more and more accurate it gets. For us, that's the biggest accomplishment.
Right.
So at the current moment, we have not launched to the public. We're still in beta 3 testing because as founders, we believe that unless our accuracy is at the highest point, we don't want people to use their money or rely on us for their money if our product is not as secure as it can be. So the biggest kind of way that we are measuring our metric of success each day is if our accuracy increases more and more, because without that we will not feel safe enough to even kind of put it out there in the market. So
Right.
currently we're at 70% accuracy, and we've been working on it for a year and a half to increase the accuracy. So I think few more months, it should be at a level that we are happy and that we're kind of satisfied with.
That's wonderful, Tarini. Amazing. So, like you said, like now you're testing your AI and trying to make it as best as you can. So you ensure that the services that you provide are of the utmost efficiency, right? So, but
Yes.
as you started, there must have been certain challenges or obstacles that you faced. Like you met your partner and you weren't really known. That your partner was someone really new, so there must have been that you had to trust each other that much that you could start something together. So there must have been so many such aspects. So could you name a few or like challenges that you may have faced and how you overcome them?
So I think one big one, as you mentioned, was the fact that before you can even commit to starting something, your team has to be the most secure. So to build this team virtually, because at that point this receptiveness was not there of virtual working. There's a lot of trust deficit when it comes to working virtually with one another, never having met, because that person connect isn't there. So it actually took us a good 6 months to talk to each other, first become friends, then feel like, okay, can you trust each other? Because when you talk about co-founders, it's very different to a colleague you work with. With a co-founder, you are literally trusting them with your life, because every decision you make is based on your business and what your kind of vision is for its growth. So it took a lot of time to get to know each other. More than anything, it took a lot of honesty. So I remember we had one of our first conversations. We both decided that whatever we do is going to be honest. So I put it out there that, so my founder's name is Vishnu, and I was just like, Srivshnu, these are the few things that I can add value. This is what my expertise are. These are things which I have no clue about. So if it's your domain, then I will literally need you to handhold me and take me through it, and vice versa. So from day one, we tried to build this kind of safe space where we can trust each other, because the fact is that all of us are living life. We have things going on, family, work, etc. And my co-founder and I are actually bootstrapping this company fully. So we have a certain target that as just our team, if we are able to get X number of users, and if we are able to get X number of accuracy without having external investors, we will continue to bootstrap. So for that reason, both of us are actually working. We have full-time jobs, because that's the only way we can actually invest capital into the company. So it's very hectic, but we are managing to do that. And for all of this to work, the biggest thing is trust. And that you pinpointed when you asked the question that what is the biggest hurdle you faced. And I think it's trust, and it's something that we will continue to keep facing it for the rest of our life, because there can always be something that I do or something that he does that can make the trust level go down or up. But it's what you do after, it's how you handle the situation after that. So definitely that was one thing. And I think another big one for us especially is the reluctance to trust artificial intelligence and technology, because these are buzzwords that we hear, we get excited by it, but how many of us actually want to trust our money with AI? There are actually very, very few people. So that's another roadblock that we are facing, and we're trying to maneuver at this point.
And like you said that trusting AI with your money. So you can convince the younger generations, but the older generations are still too skeptical to even do online banking, online payments for that matter. And it's really
Absolutely.
difficult. It must be difficult to get them on board with you as well, right?
Yeah, in fact, the younger generation is actually realizing that the kind of work that a human mind can do versus a computer,
Right.
it's for totally different job roles. So the
Right.
kind of work that a fund manager needs to do is obviously more efficient, because all you have to do to be a fund manager to advise is to go through past prices. Why has the price been like this? Because of certain factors. So it's
Right.
a lot of data that you're handling. And naturally, a computer can handle data better than a human brain, because our brains are not tuned to handle data. Our lifestyles, the professional world has accustomed us to kind of play around with data and make sense
Right.
of it. But a computer can do it with a lot more speed, with a lot
And
more efficiency and
efficiency.
accuracy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the younger generation is coming to realize this, which is why AI is becoming such a big thing.
Yes, yes, that exactly, like the younger generations are more receptive of these new ideas of playing with AI, or pushing AI, for encouraging these new startups that are
Yes.
coming through AI, that has a lot to do with AI, and that's wonderful. I mean, I think we are finally in the direction of Atmanirbhar Bharat, although it's along with AI, so we're going hand in hand with
Yeah.
it. That's wonderful. So, Tarini, what would you say now?
And as you might have even heard about the whole craze about bitcoins. So
Yeah,
that again is very hand in hand with, trusting
Bitcoin's right.
technology,
Yeah,
trusting
right,
AI.
right.
So it's, yeah, very similar.
Yeah, wonderfully said. So can you also like tell us a few something about Bitcoin, since you mentioned it? Let's just address the topic as well. Can you educate us a little on Bitcoins?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of knowledge with Bitcoin because that's a completely different domain.
Different, right?
But
Yeah,
what I can say is that you can compare it. The properties of Bitcoin are very similar to the properties of gold, but
right.
the negative properties of gold are the positives of
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. So, one example is the fact that gold is not as easily transferred. You cannot transfer a piece of gold
Right,
in 1 second to the UK or to the US. Whereas
right.
with Bitcoin, you actually can. And it's very funny because I was just having this conversation yesterday with a friend and I used the same example. So it came naturally to my head. But I would compare it to gold. All the negatives of gold are the positives of Bitcoin, which is why people are trusting Bitcoin as a better store of value, because you
Right,
don't actually need to, store it in the physical sense.
right, right.
You can transfer it very easily. So all those kind of factors come into play.
Thanks, Tarini, for sharing your insight about Bitcoins with us, because I'm sure that there's a lack of awareness about Bitcoins as well, and it's important to share whatever knowledge we may have of a certain thing that can help others. And I think this can also help our viewers who may not be much aware of Bitcoins. I mean, I
Yes,
myself am not very aware
absolutely.
of Bitcoins. So, Tarini, what would you say are the factors that you feel would maybe help you achieve your aspirations, business aspirations going ahead?
So I think a few of the factors are that we want to see people a lot more interested in, not only just having knowledge about the
Right,
stock markets, but actually using that knowledge in a practical
right.
sense. The
Executing them.
biggest accomplishment I would say is for the number of 70% inactive demat accounts to reduce dramatically. So
Right,
for us, it would personally, that would be the main aim, to see that happen.
right, nice, wonderfully said. So, this is one question. This goes a little on the personal side. What would you say, Tarini, has been the changes in you as a person as you embarked on this journey of entrepreneurship, of taking things in your own hands? An entrepreneur has to wear several hats, and with that comes a lot of
Yes.
responsibility, which teaches you a lot of things. So how would you say that this journey has changed you as a person?
So I think the first one would be that it's made me a lot more patient actually. So it's not that you just have this idea and it has to be done in the next 6 months. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that with technology at all. And it's taken me very long to understand that there are deadlines that will be missed, because you have to keep testing, you have to keep working on your algorithms, you have to keep giving the machine time to learn.
Right,
And it sometimes you miss deadlines, sometimes you miss kind of agreed things. It might have an impact on your business, but you have to be ready for that,
right,
especially as a startup when you're trying to create something that is unique. In
right,
that case, you have to be ready for your timelines to go haywire. as important as it is to have timelines, it's also as important for them to be at some level flexible.
Right.
Because otherwise, when you're creating something that's unique, it's not possible. You cannot create it. You cannot say that I have 1 hour and in 1 hour I'm going to think of something out of the box.
Right.
So at some level, it's a creative thing. You're creatively coming up with whatever it might be,
Right.
and you cannot put a time bound restriction on creativity. So I think one thing that it's taught me is definitely to be patient and to have faith that,
Right.
okay, maybe
Yeah.
not in the next 6 months, but maybe in the next 9 months.
Yeah.
So you have to have that kind of self motivation, that just because we've missed a certain deadlines, it doesn't mean that everything is falling apart. It just means that it will happen slightly later. And in that time period, you use that time to make another aspect of your business stronger.
Right.
So, when we realized that our testing is actually going to take a lot longer than we thought it would, that's when we came up with the secondary product, which is now helping us build our database and our customer base. So that when our main product is actually out and ready to be marketed, we already have an existing database.
The clientele,
So these are, and we never ever had an idea of developing a secondary product or anything like that. But simply because we realized that we have time on our hands, the machine is testing every day. There we still have time on our hands. We still have 6 months to go. So use this 6 months effectively to make another part of the business strong.
Right.
So definitely these are few things that I've learned personally.
Wonderfully said, Tarini. So, and I would like moving on towards the end of our segment, I would like to ask you, what would be your message to budding entrepreneurs out there? People who have ideas, innovative ideas, but they're too scared to take the risk, to take that one step in the direction. Maybe they're scared to leave their jobs and, take this step and, pursue their dreams. So what would you say to them, and how would you encourage them?
I think the first thing I would say is that people today tend to try and do everything on their own.
Right.
But as a founder, that's near to impossible, because there are also a lot of times where the founder themselves don't have much knowledge about the product they're building, but they have the drive and they have the capability to build a team good enough to actually build that for them.
Right.
But they are just the ones that are encouraging the rest to come together. So that bringing people together is a very big job. And you cannot do everything on your own. This is one thing that we've really realized. And where you think that you are lacking or where something might not be your strength, you have to really come to understand that and bring in other people to help you with that.
Would be good at
so
it.
I think that's exactly, and you have to accept that you are not the best at everything. And I think this is one problem that most founders actually face, that they don't realize that, okay, I might be good at it, but I might not be the best. But
Right.
to build your business and to build your product, you want the best.
Right.
So you have to be willing and open to actually allow people to come and help you, and go out and look for people who can add more value than maybe you could for certain things. So that's one thing. The second thing is, one doesn't have to dedicate their entire lives, because most people who have these brilliant ideas are also sometimes in their youth, they're young. So it doesn't mean that they have to dedicate their entire life to it. As I mentioned, I'm also a consultant. I'm also working at an MNC.
Right. Yeah.
But that doesn't stop me from, if I feel like, okay, I have 5 hours more in a week, then I'm dedicating it to do something else. So it's not necessary that you have to have just one job. It's not necessary that you have one source of income, because that day and age is gone. Everyone has invested their money in various different things, different businesses. People are on different boards of different companies, yet they're running their own company.
Right.
So one has to realize that life is not just about one thing. It's okay to have more than one, and it's actually beginning to be very normal. So as long as you can segregate your time, as long as you can plan your life in a way that you are not, nothing is going down, nothing is getting weakened, I think it's perfectly fine to be doing 2 or 3 things in,
right,
as one person.
I think, like you said, it's all about planning your time, the day of your time, the time of your day, how you wish to spend it, and how you can,
Yes.
Use it in a more productive manner. That is how you can go about things. And also, when you said that your journey has taught you patience, that your plans may not go as planned always. They can go haywire sometimes, but it's important for you to not give up. I mean, that's a test of that teaches you patience, and that also tests your perseverance of how constantly or consistently you are willing to work towards your dream, or how strongly you believe in your idea for it to work out, even if it takes time. I think that that's what matters, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Tarini, for joining us here on KYE Talks. It was wonderful talking to you and getting to know about your journey, and also about Dalal Street.
Thanks so much, Sonal. It was really great to be here with you guys, and good luck. I'm looking forward to the other entrepreneurs that you bring on board, and hopefully you can also do a session where you bring all these different people together and some sort of a networking session, or something like that would be really interesting. So just a
Tarini, that's
suggestion from my
happening.
end.
You need not worry because KYE is not only KYE Talks, but it's also like a comprehensive portal for all entrepreneurs from different walks of life. So what you said,
Wonderful.
you would get to see that really happening really soon. And to my viewers, I would like to tell them that we will be linking Dalal Street down below in the description box. Do go and check out the work that they're doing. And if you feel that you can avail their services may be of help to you, go and check it out. Thank you, Tarini.
Thank you, Sonal.